So next up on the Notebook Check video review channel is the HP Stream 13, a classic, even if it's only just 3 years old, it's still a classic. We've got our full test results for you coming up in this video. We'll take a look at battery life, screen performance, and a lot more. So it's the HP Stream 13, the latest 2015-2016 version with the Braswell processor inside. You should know this already. The HP Stream 11 was one of the first $200 laptops that hit the market, and it's been quite a success. There were 3 or 4 devices that came in. There was an Asus device, an Acer device, and the HP device, which already all competed together at that price level. This is a 13-inch model. This is €300. So take a look at some of the specs here. You'll see that we've got a Celeron version here. So we've got low-end Braswell, dual-core Celeron low-end Braswell here. We've got 32 gigs of storage. Watch out for that. We already filled it out with our test package. And we've also got only 2 gigs of RAM in here. So really low-end specs. So it's fanless. And there's a battery, 33, let me just get the battery specs up for you there, 37 watt hour battery, so it'll be interesting to see the battery run times on this low-end PC. Let's first take a look around the ports and the casing. Well, it's a plastic casing there, but it feels quite nice. I'm not sure how scratch resistant that is. It feels like ABS plastic, and on the underside it's fairly clean as well. Everything seems fairly sturdy. There's no real major problems with the casing there, and in fact the keyboard of the HP Stream is actually not bad at all. Here's that port setup then, making sure I've got that in the camera. Kensington lock, full-size HDMI, full-size USB 3, that's super speed, headset port, a microSD slot. There's a little lamp there for the battery, and another 2 USB slots there, and the power. So no, sorry, not USB, so USB 3, not USB-C. And note that because it's USB, separate charging port there. So no charging through micro USB as we had on, for example, the Asus X205, and it's a separate charging thing on here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to give you some details on the screen. It's a 1366 by 768. It's a matte screen, and it's not fully IPS. Let me give you some details on that right now. As you can see there, the brightness is not that good. We're on maximum brightness here, and then, okay, we've got studio lights on, as you can see, but that is struggling really to give me a nice contrast. And in fact the black levels aren't that black either. So you've got something that really is only usable indoors. That's 190 maximum nits, 158 on battery. That's really quite poor. So it's an indoor device only, and that 1366 by 768 is really not going to be that impressive for full HD movies, for example. How does it compare with last year's model? Well, the contrast is slightly up. The accuracy of the colors is completely different. The grayscales in the old one were actually accurate. This is a lot worse, and we're covering a little bit more of the space. Brightness is slightly down in terms of maximum brightness. So as I said, fairly low-end performance from this entry-level Celeron Braswell, and compare it to last year's model that we tested with the N2840. This is slightly less powerful in terms of CPU performance on the multi-CPU. On the single CPU test as well, less performance than on the N2840, which was a slightly higher clocked version of the Braswell M processor. Take a look at that PC Mark 8 score there, 1568, and you'll see that it's actually a little bit better than last year's model, 1273. So we're getting an improvement in the PC Mark 8 score. Let's take a look at the disk speeds to see if that's the reason why. And you can see on that chart there that the write 4K speeds, 16.78, compared to the 4.639 of last year's model. That's a lot of improvement there. That's really going to help. That's really going to help get this system moving. It will increase the speed of things like Windows Defender virus scanning. It will increase the speed of indexing and of installing updates. So that's a nice improvement to have on that eMMC based SSD. You're also getting much improved graphics over the previous version. Here's an example, 3D Mark 11, and you can see that we're well, the previous model is 25% or 24% slower than the current model. So good improvements on the graphics there. Don't expect to be doing much gaming on this. In fact, you'll be lucky if you get entry-level World of Warcraft running on it. But what you will find is you'll find that you'll get a fairly fluid response from Windows 10 store games. There's one game that we tested, Trackmania Nations Forever, 97.6 on low settings. So there's at least something you can play on this. Obviously this is fanless, so there's no problem with noise here. Temperatures, really not a problem. There's a little look at the maximum temperatures there, 51.8 on the underside in this section here, but really nothing too much to worry about if it's underneath. On the top there, not even reaching 40 degrees. Battery life test that we did there, we got 370 minutes out of Wi-Fi browsing, slightly less than the test we did on last year's model, which got 446 minutes. One of the reasons for that is that actually we may have only been getting 35 watt hours out of this theoretical 37 watt hour battery. If we have a look at the wear on that battery, we might see some more information. So here's a simple way to find out battery information on any Windows 8 or Windows 10 device. Go to the command line, let's just type CMD in the Cortana box and you'll get straight to that. And then type power CFG minus battery report. Now what will happen is that will generate an HTML file in your user directory. So then we go to the users directory and we should get that here and we should see the file. There it is, battery report. So some interesting information in this, especially if you've got a connected standby device. Let's just open that, and what we'll see is the battery. Now you can see the design capacity here says 35 watt hours. HP was stating 37. We're only getting 35 watt hours on this, although so it doesn't have any wear on it. It's actually simply a 35 watt hour battery. Down at the bottom you'll see some average active battery life reports. Our average here is 6 hours 25 in the period that we've used it, and if you use your device over a longer period of time, you'll get some good battery report figures from that. So that's power CFG minus battery report. So it's a fairly simple device. It's HP Stream 13. Who's it aimed at? Well, it's probably aimed at the teen market, at the home market, at the sofa market. So it's a secondary device if you want to do some Google, Wikipedia lookups while you're watching TV. This is probably quite ideal. It's a silent device, and that's one of the advantages. It doesn't get warm and has a reasonable keyboard. Battery runtime is also quite good. On the cons side of things, take a look at that. We've got a very low display brightness and in fact very low display performance overall. We get some throttling under load. That's obviously because it's fanless. There's a thermal limit here to deal with, and in our German model here, only 12 months warranty on this. So it looks nice, it feels nice. This is the entry level model, remember. I would say go for a 4 gig version if you can, and try and look for the Pentium quad-core version. I'm not sure if there's one out there, but usually if they're working with the Braswell platform, there'll be a high-end model out there for you as well. Watch out for that 32 gigs of SSD. That fills up very quickly, but there's some nice tools on the Windows 10 that allow you to keep that fairly clean. Note that if you go to install World of Warcraft, you'll end up having to use, well, my tip is to use a USB 3 connected SSD, and that you can install World of Warcraft on that and it will work fine. At least it will actually install fine. Whether it plays fine, well, I'm guessing you might be lucky to get 30-40 frames per second at low settings, but if you have experience with Braswell entry level with those sort of games, put a comment down in the comments on YouTube, and I'd like to see those. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to get notifications in your channel, in your email box, sorry, and we'll see you on the next Notebook Check Tech Review, which is going to be the Toshiba Satellite Radius 12. We'll see you on that video.